are you? This is Loise. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you could join us today. Today I want us to talk about main reasons as to why your study visa gets rejected, and we shall look at 6 factors. We will see whether this is fact or a myth, fact or fiction. That's what we want to identify here. We are going to demystify some myths and see what actually is a fact. Of course, one disclaimer is that one condition doesn't necessarily disqualify you, so mostly this should be a combination of many of these factors or more of these factors. Anyway, guys, I am a regulated Canadian immigration. I am based here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I don't have offices anywhere in the world, especially Kenya. I know there's a lot of people who are being conned under my name. Please don't fall prey of that. Let nobody tell you that I work with them back in Kenya. If you haven't talked to me, you haven't talked to me, lele. Okay, guys, so I disseminate information on this channel for education purposes only. Please don't take this and say, Loise, I did this and I did it and this is the outcome. You advise me. No, this is not legal advice. This is education purposes only. Should you need legal advice, please book a consultation with me. Our website is www.mileleimmigrationservices.ca, and I will meet you at a time when you book. You can only book it online also on our website, and I will meet you at a time of your convenience. Okay, guys, so have you subscribed to this channel? For those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. For those ones who are considering subscribing, thank you so much as you do so. Thank you for liking, for sharing, and for following and keeping it here. Guys, share this information with your relatives, with your friends, with your loved ones, anywhere, your colleagues. Share this information. I know a lot of people tell me that my videos have helped thousands of people, and of course I have also met thousands of you through those consultations. But whether you book that consultation or not, my goal is that hopefully I help one person out there. I will have met my life goal of changing one life one time, one video at a time. Okay, guys? All right, so factors that lead to high study permit rejection rates for Canada, guys. I only deal with Canadian immigration so far, okay? Number one, that is in everybody's mouth, age. So is it a fact or a fiction about age? People tell me that, you know, I went to this agency here and they said I'm over 30, I can't come to study. I'm over 35, I can't. They won't even do an application for me, and I'm like, ooh, that's a myth. Okay, I said I'm going to demystify this. That is a myth. I practice immigration. I do a lot of study permit applications, school admissions. That is a myth. Okay, most of the people who will tell you that, they are working with specific schools, and so they've been given a criteria that we will only take students within this age bracket or within this criteria. But if you're not working with someone like that, maybe you're working with someone like me in your journey, I'm here to work on your specific goals. Consider your unique profile, because everybody deserves a chance to immigrate. So come on, that's a myth. If an applicant is older though, okay, you also have to reason. Okay, so I'm not saying that they don't consider age at all. But, you know, a visa officer, when they are issuing visa, some of the things that they consider when they are looking at age is, what course are you coming to do here, considering your age, okay? And that, as I said, it doesn't lead to automatic disqualification. It only lowers your chances of a visa approval, okay? So you still have good chances. So, for example, if an applicant is older than 27 and they are coming here to do their first post-secondary course, then, you know, chances may be lower because there is expectation that you should have gone to school immediately after high school. Does it mean that if you're 27 you shouldn't be applying to come do a degree? Come on, I have a student here, not just one. I have people in their 30s who applied to come do their degrees here. Why? Because maybe they were lucky, they got jobs after college, and only now they are realizing that they can't progress further. So age is not necessarily a killer. So from my own experience, age has been a factor depending on how we structure and we strategize on your application. So I have brought students here who are as old as 57 years old. Majority of our students have gone to agencies who told them that they were too old since they were over 30 years, and we had no challenges getting them here as international students. Of course, we cannot guarantee your study permit that your study permit will be granted, so don't get that wrong. But majority of them, they still get their study permits granted, just like anybody else, irrespective of their age. Okay, so what I advise older students is you need to consider your immigration option. I think that's a very important factor that you need to consider, your immigration options post-graduation. This is why I ask people to book a consultation so that we choose the right program that will ensure that you have a smooth transition from study to permanent residence. Okay. Number 2, language requirements by country. At times I'm always taken aback when someone books a consultation and the first thing they send to me, their resume, and then they send me their IELTS results, and I'm like, why did you go ahead and do IELTS without first understanding, do you actually need IELTS? Okay, so is it fact or fiction that you must all do an English exam when coming to Canada? Okay, language is important because you need to show that you're proficient. Come on, you can't come to study in Canada without understanding any of the 2 languages spoken here in Canada, that is either English or French. Okay, so language requirement is a fact. Okay, but is it mandatory for every student to have a language test? No. Language proficiency necessary. Language proficiency test not necessarily mandatory. Okay, so this is now where the difference comes in. If you're coming from a non-English speaking country, there is going to be a language requirement even for the visa application itself. So ensure that you understand what your specific country language requirements are, so that you make sure you meet the required threshold. Okay, for example, if an applicant is coming from a country like Iraq, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Pakistan, or Sri Lanka and does not meet the minimum language requirement for non-conditional acceptance, then their study permit will be denied. So make sure you understand your own country's needs. But for majority of the countries where English is a main language, people like from Kenya, a lot of African countries actually, you don't really have a language challenge. The only time you may be required to provide an English test is maybe depending on the school's requirements. Okay, but that's why I said make sure before you go ahead and apply for study permits, make sure you understand your country requirements when it comes to language. So that's a fact. Language is important. Okay, number 3, your country of origin. Okay, your country of origin matters when it comes to your study permit application, and I am telling you that's a fact. Okay, I think I've done another video that talked about second-class immigrants. Yes, there is a lot of profiling when it comes to study permit. Okay, it goes without saying that in this world, and when I look at Canada, I see these things. I live here. Come on, I'm from Africa. And I know that, of course, there's preferred immigrants and non-preferred immigrants. Okay? Preferred immigrants are those people who don't even need visas to come here. And then we have us from countries where you have to leave your kidney in exchange for your study permit, whereby, you have to prove so much that you will actually go back to your country. While there are other countries that they are being told, just come to Canada, you can even just come here and start looking for employment. Understand where you come from, okay, guys? So that is pure discrimination. If you're coming from a country that is not the preferred or desired source for international students, you realize that your study permit chances diminish just by your country of origin, okay? There are some countries that are preferred by RCIC, hence many visa refusals. But you know what? Whether you're coming from a country that doesn't fit in that preferred category, that should not deter you, because you need to look and see. There are so many people who are from Africa who look like me, who are here, and they are here as students. So ask yourself, as much as the system is discriminative, you still stand a good chance, but you have to go over and above everybody else coming from those other countries. Okay, guys? So make sure that you make a perfect application. Still, of course, it doesn't guarantee you that whether you submit everything, your study permit will be approved, but you give yourself a very good chance of getting your study permit approved, okay? Even when I talk about Africa, okay, even these developing countries are still not the same. They are not equal. So we've actually, I think, in the past given statistics on countries and their study permit approval rates. There's some countries that have 66%, 70% approval rate, like, come on. And then we have countries like Kenya that have like a 33% approval rate. So for every 100 people who apply to come here as international students, maybe how many? 35, whether it's 35%, so only 35 get approved. Anyway, I'm gonna give you an example. There are passport holders from the following countries, and these are countries that have the lowest visa approval rates. So we have Eritrea, Georgia, Somalia, Afghanistan, Burundi, Angola, Gambia, Congo, Guinea, Ethiopia, and Chad. So those countries rank very low when it comes to study permit approval. Doesn't mean that other African countries are so high, okay? But it's simple to understand where you're coming from, because that actually is a fact. It determines your chances, okay? All right, number 4, study gap. Woo. If I tell you how many times I hear study gap, if I had a penny for everybody who tells me they are worried about a study gap, I would be rich. So is it myth? Is it a fact or fiction? In my experience, I think that is a myth. Okay, and I'll tell you why I think it's a myth. Okay, it doesn't mean that everybody who has a study gap gets denied. Okay, a study gap, this case varies from case to case. You always have to understand your case, okay? Not everybody is cut out to go back to school every 5 years. Come on, who has all that money and time? Like every 5 years you're going, come on. Also, how many credentials can you have? Seriously? Of course, you did high school, you do your diploma, you do your degree, you do your master's, you do your PhD. Where else are you going? Okay? So you get where I'm going, right? So not everybody is cut out for that. So simply because you didn't go back to school every 5 years, and everybody quotes that 5-year study gap, that if you've been out of school for 5 years, oh, don't even bother applying. My friend, okay, out of my experience, people have other things to do in this life other than just study. Okay, so you need to study when you need to study, not based on some calendar that is going to determine your study gaps. Okay, so look at your case and be able to justify your study gaps. So study gaps should never be a case. People take gaps, or they take long time without going to study for their own reasons that have nothing to do with Canadian immigration. Okay, so that's why I say that's not a fact. It's just a myth. Okay, number 5, past visa refusals is this. a factor that increases your chances of a rejection. Is it true or false? And I think it's true based on my experience. Again, guys, I told you this is all my opinion based on my experience. Okay, so it's true. If you have been denied visas in the past, like if you have that a track record of visa refusals, please stop. I always advise people stop before reapplying. Just don't be sending reapplications without understanding why you are denied and being able to address those reasons. Seek professional help before you do a new reapplication. I do a lot of visa refusals for people who've been denied, whether I applied for them or not. So if you've been denied, whether you come to me or not, please seek some professional help. Okay, understand why you're denied and understand if you reapply, what are the chances of getting it? Are you able to address those issues and how best to address those issues? Okay, so once you address them, then that shouldn't bar you from reapplying. But don't just be reapplying blindly without fully understanding why you were denied. So not just for Canada, there are countries here that share data with Canada. So if an applicant has been denied a visa either to Canada, US, United Kingdom, New Zealand, or Australia, all these countries do share data. So they share biometric information with each other. It's in your best interest to know how that visa refusal that you had in Australia affects your Canadian visa approval. I've had cases whereby someone has come to Canada, they were denied, they were caught with a misrepresentation, and immediately they applied to Australia, and Australia denied them based on the Canadian misrepresentation. Okay, so that's a fact. So you should always be conscious. I'm not saying simply because you've been denied you shouldn't be reapplying, but make sure that you are well prepared for your future reapplications. Okay. And number 6, and this is the last one, definitely not the least, is course choice. And I just did another video that was addressing courses that you should be choosing, and this is a fact. This is true. The choice of course that you make here in Canada really determines whether you get that visa or not. Okay, what does course mean? Course is what these people call purpose. Like, what is bringing you to Canada? Are you just choosing a course for the purpose of entering Canada, or is this course really relevant to you, whether it's in your career growth or whatever? So people, the way you choose courses, the justifications, everything, always to seek proper legal advice. You can always get creative with your courses. That's our specialty, helping you get creative with your course choices, but ensure that you make the right courses, not even just for the visa. Of course, here today we are talking about visa approvals, but I tell people, when you choose your courses, think broadly. It's not just a straight it's not a straight decision that you just have to make. I'm taking this course and that's it. We have every family has advisors. They are friends, they are families who tell you just take this course. First, you have to take a course that helps you get that visa, and secondly, also come here to do courses that are in demand, whether it's in Canada or back home. Make sure that those courses are in demand, and also please choose courses that also lead to financial sufficiency. I'm always emphasizing on financial sufficiency, because why do you want to come to Canada and invest so much money on a course that cannot even pay you over 40,000-50,000 Canadian dollars a year? Okay, so anyway, you need to look at courses, not just the course itself, but things like course levels. My friend, why do you have a master's and you're coming to take a diploma unless you can properly justify that? Okay, course levels are really also important, and also the fields. So are you changing profession? How relevant are these courses to your future career growth? Okay, so those are things that you really need to look at when you're selecting a course. And I am here, you know, it's that time when you're selecting courses for next year, my friend. Book that consultation. Head on to our website, www.milele.immigration services. Book a consultation with me, and I will help you look at all these things and devise a perfect plan for you as an international student in Canada. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye now.